My name is Marcus Julius Philippus, though history may come to know me as Philip the Arab. I was born in the year 204 AD in the town of Shahba, near the ancient city of Damascus in the province of Syria. My birthplace, nestled in the fertile plains of the Levant, was a modest yet culturally rich region. Our family was of distinguished equestrian rank, a notable position in the Roman social hierarchy, yet our roots traced back to the Arab tribes of the region, a heritage that shaped much of my early life. My father, Julius Marinus, was a respected figure in our community, and my mother, though her name is lost to the annals of history, was known for her wisdom and piety. Together, they instilled in me a sense of duty and honor. From a young age, I was groomed for leadership and service, receiving a robust education that blended the classical Roman curriculum with the rich traditions of our local culture. Latin and Greek were the languages of my education, but I also spoke the Aramaic of my homeland, a testament to the diverse influences that shaped my upbringing. My early years were marked by diligent study and physical training. I was taught the histories of Rome, the philosophies of the great thinkers, and the strategies of renowned generals. My tutors were thorough, ensuring I was well versed in the arts of governance and war. Despite our Arab origins, my family was deeply loyal to Rome, and we saw our future intertwined with the fortunes of the empire. Growing up in Shahba, I was keenly aware of the contrasts between our provincial life and the grandeur of Rome. Shahba was a bustling town, benefiting from the Pax Romana that allowed for prosperity and stability. It was a place where East met West, where traders from across the empire would converge, bringing with them tales and treasures from distant lands. This environment fostered in me a curiosity and an understanding of the broader world beyond our provincial borders. As I came of age, I sought to serve the empire that had provided my family with opportunity and status. My ambition led me to the Roman military, the crucible where men of talent and determination could rise through the ranks. My early service was marked by diligence and a keen understanding of both the administrative and strategic demands of the Roman legions. I served in various capacities, gradually earning the trust and respect of my superiors. My ascent through the military ranks was not without its challenges. The 3rd century was a tumultuous period for the empire, marked by internal strife and external threats. Yet, each challenge was a lesson, each campaign a stepping stone that honed my skills and broadened my experience. My steadfastness and competence did not go unnoticed, and I was eventually appointed as Praetorian Prefect, one of the highest and most trusted positions within the Roman military hierarchy. This role placed me at the center of power, serving as the chief aide and commander of the Imperial Guard under Emperor Gordian III. It was a position of immense responsibility, requiring both military acumen and political savvy. My loyalty to Gordian was unwavering, yet the whispers of court intrigue were never far from my ears. The corridors of power in Rome were fraught with danger and deception, a reality that would soon alter the course of my life. In those early years, I could not have imagined that the son of a provincial family from Shahba would one day ascend to the highest office in the Roman Empire. My journey from the dusty streets of my hometown to the gilded halls of the imperial palace was shaped by a combination of fortune, skill, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. This path, however, was only the beginning of a story that would see me rise to the pinnacle of power amidst one of the most turbulent periods in Roman history. The year was 244 AD, and the empire was teetering on the brink of chaos. Emperor Gordian III, a young and inexperienced ruler, faced mounting pressures both within the empire and along its borders. As his Praetorian Prefect, I stood by his side, a trusted advisor and guardian of his reign. Yet, the stability of the empire was fragile, and our campaigns in the east against the formidable Persian Empire were proving to be a grueling endeavor. The turning point came during the Battle of Mysiche. Our forces were strained, our lines faltering under the relentless assault of the Persian king Shahba I. It was in the heat of this conflict that fate intervened. Gordian III was killed, though the exact circumstances of his death remain shrouded in mystery. Some whisper it was a mutiny, others suggest it was a battlefield casualty, but the truth may forever be lost to history. What is clear, however, is that in the aftermath of his death, the mantle of leadership fell to me. In the wake of Gordian's demise, the army needed a strong and decisive leader. My years of service, marked by loyalty and competence, had earned me the respect of the legions. The soldiers proclaimed me emperor, and with the army's support, I assumed the purple. I was acutely aware that my ascension was not merely a matter of inheritance or birthright, it was a direct response to the urgent need for stability and effective leadership in a time of crisis. One of my first acts as emperor was to negotiate peace with the Persians. The war had drained our resources and sapped the morale of our troops. I recognized that continuing the conflict would only further weaken the empire. Through diplomacy, I secured a treaty that, while not entirely favorable, provided a much-needed respite and allowed us to regroup and fortify our eastern defenses. Returning to Rome, I was met with both celebration and suspicion. The Senate, ever cautious and calculating, formally acknowledged my rule, though their support was tepid. They were wary of a new emperor whose rise was seen as a result of military power rather than senatorial endorsement. Nonetheless, I sought to legitimize my reign by emphasizing continuity and stability. I took the name Marcus Julius Philippus Augustus, aligning myself with the Julian heritage and the storied legacy of Rome. In 248 AD, we marked a significant milestone, a millennium of Rome's founding. This grand celebration was an opportunity to bolster the morale of the populace and reinforce the grandeur of the empire. The Ludi Séculaires, or secular games, were held in honor of this momentous occasion, showcasing Rome's cultural and historical achievements. It was a spectacle meant to unify the empire and remind its citizens of Rome's enduring strength and legacy. However, my reign was not to be a peaceful one. The empire was under constant threat from external enemies and internal dissent. Along the Danube, barbarian tribes such as the Goths were becoming increasingly bold, launching raids and challenging our frontier defenses. I personally led campaigns to repel these invasions, striving to protect the provinces and maintain the integrity of our borders. Yet, it was not only the barbarians who posed a threat. Within the empire, dissent and ambition brewed among the ranks of the military and the provincial governors. The crisis of the 3rd century was a period marked by civil strife, with generals and local leaders vying for power. It was in this turbulent environment that Gaius Messius Quintus Decius, one of my trusted commanders, would rise in rebellion. Decius had been dispatched to deal with the Goths, but his successes on the battlefield and the loyalty of his troops emboldened him. In 249 AD, Decius's army proclaimed him emperor, challenging my authority. The inevitability of conflict between us loomed large. Our forces met near Verona, and it was there, in the heat of battle, that my fate would be sealed. As I stood on the precipice of war, the weight of the empire bore down upon me. I had risen from the son of a provincial family to the emperor of Rome, navigating a path marked by loyalty, service, and ambition. Now, as the armies clashed, the future of my reign and indeed my life hung in the balance. Upon assuming the imperial purple, my foremost priority was to restore stability to an empire battered by internal strife and external threats. My reign as Emperor Philip I, known to history as Philip the Arab, began with a mix of urgency and optimism. The peace I negotiated with the Persian Empire was a strategic necessity, allowing me to turn my focus inward and address the myriad issues facing Rome. Returning to Rome in 244 AD, I embarked on a series of reforms aimed at strengthening the administrative and military foundations of the empire. My background as a praetorian prefect endowed me with an acute understanding of the empire's bureaucratic and military machinery. I sought to streamline administration, improve the efficiency of tax collection, and bolster the defenses of our borders. The following year, in 245 AD, I undertook a significant military campaign against the Carpi, a tribe that had been raiding across the Danube frontier. Leading the legions personally, I was determined to demonstrate both my commitment to the Empire's security and my capability as a military leader. The campaign was arduous, but ultimately successful, pushing back the Carpi and securing the Danube frontier for a time. This victory earned me the title Carpicus Maximus, a testament to our triumph and a boost to my standing among the legions and the Roman populace. Yet, the celebration of our victory was tempered by the knowledge that Rome's challenges were far from over. The Germanic tribes and the Goths continued to test our northern defenses, and the situation along the Danube remained volatile. These persistent threats required constant vigilance and a ready military presence. One of the defining moments of my reign was the celebration of Rome's millennium in 248 AD. The Ludi Saeculares, or secular games, were a magnificent affair, showcasing the grandeur and resilience of the Eternal City. The festivities included games, theatrical performances, and religious ceremonies, reminding the people of Rome's glorious past and promising a hopeful future. The Millennium celebration was not just a political maneuver, it was an earnest attempt to unite the citizens of Rome and fortify their faith in the Empire's enduring legacy. Despite these efforts, the crisis of the 3rd century continued to cast a long shadow over my reign. The economic strains of maintaining a vast empire were exacerbated by inflation and the devaluation of currency. In an attempt to address these issues, I implemented fiscal reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy, including measures to curb excessive spending and bolster the treasury. However, these efforts met with limited success, as the underlying economic pressures were profound and persistent. The internal stability of the empire was further threatened by the ambitions of provincial governors and military leaders. It was in this atmosphere of suspicion and competition that Gaius Messius Quintus Decius, a trusted commander, rose in revolt. Decius had been sent to the Balkans to confront the Gothic threat, but his successes emboldened him. His troops, loyal to their commander, proclaimed him emperor in 249 AD, setting the stage for a civil war. The declaration of Decius as emperor was a direct challenge to my authority. The loyalty of the legions was divided, and the spectre of civil conflict loomed large. Determined to defend my legitimacy, I mustered my forces and marched to confront Decius. Our armies met near Verona, in northern Italy. The battle was fierce and brutal, emblematic of the internal strife that had plagued the empire for decades. In the chaos of battle, the fate of Rome hung in the balance. Despite my efforts, my forces were ultimately overwhelmed by Decius's well-led legions. I was defeated, and in the aftermath of the battle, I was slain. My death marked the end of my reign and the beginning of Decius's, but the struggles that defined my time as emperor would continue to haunt the empire. As I lay on the battlefield, the weight of my journey from the provincial town of Shahba to the pinnacle of Roman power pressed heavily upon me. My reign, though brief and tumultuous, was driven by a commitment to restore and protect the empire. I had risen from modest origins to lead Rome through one of its most challenging periods, striving to bring stability to an ever-fracturing realm. The year 249 AD marked the end of my reign and my life. The decisive battle near Verona sealed my fate and ushered in a new chapter of the empire's turbulent history. In those final moments on the battlefield, I faced the harsh reality of defeat. The legions that had once proclaimed me emperor were now torn by loyalty to another, and the relentless tides of Rome's internal struggles and external threats had overwhelmed my efforts to maintain stability. The clash with Decius's forces was brutal and unforgiving. Despite my experience and strategic acumen, the loyalty and momentum behind Decius's troops proved too formidable. As the battle raged, the lines of my army faltered. In the chaos, amidst the cries of the wounded and the clash of steel, I was struck down. The details of my death are lost to history, whether it was by the sword of an enemy soldier or the betrayal of a supposed ally. What remains clear is that my demise was as swift and unforgiving as the era I had attempted to navigate. News of my death spread quickly. In Rome, the Senate and the people learned of the defeat and the rise of a new emperor. Decius, now the uncontested ruler, moved swiftly to consolidate his power. He sought to legitimize his rule, portraying my fall as a necessary step in the restoration of the empire's stability and strength. My legacy, in those immediate aftermaths, was overshadowed by the urgent need to address the ongoing crises facing the empire. The political landscape of Rome was a delicate balance of power, loyalty, and ambition. With my death, the factions within the Senate and the military realigned. Some mourned my passing, recognizing my efforts to stabilize the empire and my role in negotiating peace with Persia. Others saw my fall as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the precariousness of power in an empire fraught with internal divisions and external threats. In the provinces, my death elicited varied reactions. In my homeland of Syria, and particularly in my birthplace of Shahba, there was a sense of loss and mourning. I had risen from their midst, a symbol of possibility and achievement. My reign had been a source of pride, a testament to the idea that a provincial could ascend to the highest office in the Roman world. The people of Shahba, and indeed much of the eastern provinces, had looked to my leadership with hope. The immediate impact of my death was a continuation of the instability that had characterized the 3rd century. Decius faced significant challenges, including the persistent threat of the Goths and the ongoing economic troubles that had plagued my reign. The civil war that my death was meant to end only set the stage for further conflicts and power struggles. In the grand narrative of Roman history, my reign might seem a brief interlude, a momentary respite in a century marked by chaos. Yet, in those 5 years, I endeavored to protect and preserve the empire. My efforts to strengthen the borders, to bring peace with Persia, and to celebrate Rome's millennium were all aimed at fostering unity and resilience. As the new emperor, Decius would soon face his own trials. His reign, too, would be marked by conflict and challenge, a reflection of the broader crises facing the Roman world. My death did not bring an end to the empire's struggles but was rather a continuation of a period defined by rapid shifts in power and constant threats to stability. In the silence that followed the battle, as my life ebbed away, I found a grim solace in the knowledge that I had served the empire to the best of my ability. My journey from Shahba to the heights of imperial power was a testament to the possibilities within the Roman system, even in an era of profound crisis. My death was not the end of the story, but a chapter in the ongoing saga of Rome's endurance and transformation. My reign as Philip the Arab may have been brief, but its impact on the Roman Empire and its legacy is more nuanced than one might expect. As I look back from the vantage of history, I see that my efforts, struggles, and ultimate sacrifice were part of the larger narrative of Rome's enduring legacy. When I ascended to the throne, the empire was embroiled in the crisis of the 3rd century, a period characterized by economic instability, external invasions, and internal power struggles. My reign was an attempt to navigate these tumultuous waters, to provide a semblance of order and continuity amid chaos. Though my time as emperor was short, my actions left a lasting imprint on the empire. Firstly, my peace treaty with Persia, though viewed by some as a compromise, was a strategic necessity that provided the empire with a much-needed respite. This treaty allowed us to redirect our focus and resources to the pressing threats along the northern borders. By stabilizing the eastern frontier, I bought time for Rome, a time that my successors could utilize to fortify and defend the empire more effectively. My military campaigns, particularly against the Carpi and other tribes along the Danube, demonstrated my commitment to safeguarding Rome's borders. These campaigns, though not decisive in ending the barbarian threats, showcased my dedication to the empire's security and my willingness to lead from the front. The title Carpicus Maximus was not just an honorific but a reflection of my determination to protect Rome. The millennium celebration of Rome in 248 AD was perhaps one of the most significant cultural legacies of my reign. The Ludi Aequales not only marked a historic milestone but also served to unify the populace and renew their faith in the enduring strength of Rome. The games, festivals, and ceremonies were a reminder of Rome's glorious past and a beacon of hope for its future. This grand celebration helped to temporarily uplift the Roman spirit in a time of widespread uncertainty and fear. Economically, my attempts at fiscal reform, though not entirely successful, were indicative of my understanding of the deeper issues plaguing the empire. The measures I introduced to stabilize the currency and improve tax collection were early steps toward addressing the systemic economic problems. These reforms set a precedent for future emperors, highlighting the necessity of economic stability for the empire's survival. My death in 249 AD at the hands of Decius marked the end of my reign but also the beginning of a period of reflection. Decius, who succeeded me, faced similar challenges, and his reign, too, was marked by conflict and strife. The continuous cycle of civil wars and power struggles during this period underscores the difficulties I faced and the broader context of the 3rd century crisis. In my homeland of Syria, particularly in Shahba, my legacy endured in the form of architectural and cultural contributions. I had endeavored to beautify and enhance my hometown, elevating it with structures and monuments that reflected its connection to the Roman Empire. These efforts were a testament to my pride in my origins and my desire to leave a lasting mark on the place that shaped me. Historians often debate the effectiveness and significance of my reign. Some view it as a period of temporary respite amid the chaos, while others see it as a missed opportunity for more substantial reforms. However, what remains indisputable is that I rose from provincial obscurity to the pinnacle of Roman power, navigating a path fraught with peril and challenge. In the grand tapestry of Roman history, my story is one of perseverance and resilience. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, the commitment to duty and the desire to protect and preserve the empire can leave a lasting legacy. My reign was but a moment in the long history of Rome, yet it was a moment marked by efforts to restore stability, celebrate the past, and prepare for an uncertain future. As Philip the Arab, I may not have secured a place among the legendary emperors of Rome, but I stood as a testament to the complexities and challenges of leadership during one of the empire's most trying times. My life and reign were a reflection of the enduring spirit of Rome, a spirit that, despite countless trials, continued to strive for greatness and resilience. Thank you for watching. For more information on the crisis of the 3rd century and 238 CE, the year of the 6 emperors, check out our other videos. Our channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice and other topics of liberal arts and sciences including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast of the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. Embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity opens up the world to each of us, individually, and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse, and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit.